Hi there. It's late. It's been a really long day. So I hope I don't yawn during this video. But I started off out in Parramatta this morning and I had a whole day of training to do. Um, it was informative, but the points at which it was really intense. And yeah, I just knew that we'd be knocking off at about 4, having gotten up at 6 to go out that way. And effectively wouldn't really have much time to rest because I have a class every Thursday from 6 until 8. So somehow I got through that. So I'm a bit buggered, as they say in the Australian argot. Some news this week. I got my travel grant, so I'm going to the US. I've got to organise the ticket, pay for the ticket and accommodation ASAP because it's really soon, a couple of weeks from now. And I've got to write the paper, right? I've got to get a lot of things sorted. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get up to other things while over there, even traveling to other cities. I'm not really able to do much financially off my own bat. But it seems a shame. If I could, I would, including maybe doing activities or talks, community type things. If people want me, it's actually a free resource if you look at it that way, but I don't know, I haven't been to the US for a while actually. So it's going to be interesting, if challenging, given all the news coming out of there about people being held, deported, threatened with deportation, and also foreigners not being allowed in. Gonna have to keep a very low profile. Yes. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow not having any commitments in particular, although I do have things to do. I feel like I could just sleep for 100 years. Lately my sleep has been a bit uneven, well, very uneven, and I think that has to do with the fact that I've got so much to do and I just feel kind of, at times, hyper alert. I don't like being like that, not being able to rest and things like that. Just rest and relax and get myself into sleep mode, which I'll shortly be doing, by the way. So today at the headquarters, I met some people that I'd only met on Zoom before in person. And it was interesting being back at the headquarters because obviously I've spent time out there before, but it was before officially going through medical transition. And I felt so much like I was comfortable, but I just felt like these are all men. There's one woman that works for the organization. She's really lovely, but it's kind of weird because I'll be working with men based on common experiences as a peer support worker, while also not being a man. What I had as life experience is an approximation of that. I share certain kinds of characteristics in terms of being treated like a certain kind of boy or male growing up, and one that was never comfortable, one that was never seen as conforming to that role, for sure, that was constantly corrected. And I've told the story to some extent in other videos, but it's pretty phenomenal to be living my life right now. Like some people do obviously perceive me in accordance with ideas about male gender. It's very early in my transition, but I feel more and more like myself, and the future can only bring good things, even though it will also bring challenges, including in relation to this new job, this new role, because it's helping survivors. But this is my first workplace where, from the get-go, I'm hired, knowing that I'm trans, and in this case, not identifying as a man, not actually feeling like I'm entirely at home in that context, with the other guys. But I guess for some of them it might be the first time that they've actually worked with someone who's trans, and they made me feel really welcoming and everything. But you know, I feel so much more. It's hard to explain, but I feel so much more like distant from any kind of identification with the the M word, not the L word. uh, like I always felt that just juncture, that difference. Growing up, to be sure, I never felt comfortable in male spaces, and that's a complicated affair. But I scanned around the room and thought, so many of the guys here are middle-aged men, and like I don't actually fit into that box. Anyway, it's not something that caused me great grief or anything, or made them feel uncomfortable. I don't think so, anyway. But whenever we enter into new environments where someone's meeting us for the first time as someone who is visibly trans, it can feel, well, for me anyway, I can feel like I might be a surprise for them, or I don't know, nervous.